Hello! Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian, I am going over my end of October wrap-up. Whoo boy, I read a lot of spooky stuff this October. I really dug into the Halloween vibes and just read all of the spooky things I could. I was into it, you know, like a full festive spirit. And you know what? I read 8 books. 8 of them. A couple were pretty short, I'll give you that, but still 8. 8 of them. Like, oh boy, I was a little rating machine. All of the spooky delights. Let's just get into these because I got a lot of books to review. First category is books I've already kind of reviewed, and there's 2 of them. First things first, I have The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones. This was the book of the month for the Blades and Bodice Rippers book club. There is a whole discussion video already on my channel. But long story short, I gave it like 3 stars because in the end I was kind of meh about it. I love the concept here. Essentially, it's kind of like we're following characters who live in a slasher movie. And it's full of like horror tropes, slasher movie tropes, references. So if you like slasher movies, you like horror movies, you would get into it and you would see the humor. However, the thing that like hinders this book, arguably, is the format it's written in, because it's kind of written in a visual format as if you're watching a movie. So there's a lot of jump cuts, but in a literary sense. So it's just like pan to this, pan to that. Oh, we moved to this shot. And it's like, it's literally like trying to explain a movie you are watching. And you say, oh, but now it cuts to this picture and that picture. And films are a very visual medium because, you know, they're films, and, you know, literature is not a visual medium. So I think trying to make it a visual medium doesn't work. Personally, I don't think the formatting works. But it's really sarcastic, it's meta, it's slasher movies, it's funny at times, concept's really cool, it's just, you know, not told as well as it could have been. I also read The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, and this was my Drunk Classics book of the month. And you know what? I kind of liked it, actually. It was like silly at times, and also like way more murdery than I thought it was gonna be. And surprise of all surprises, I actually really like Christine. I think she's a dope heroine. I was fully expecting Christine to be like Lucy from Dracula, who's just like pretty and there to be a victim. And like Christine is actually really great. She has like self-respect and she stands up for herself quite often, especially because Raoul, who's just like a frat boy extraordinaire. But anyway, Christine is actually a really cool heroine. I enjoyed the story greatly. It was a fun ride, and yeah, I have a whole video talking about it. So I've reviewed it a bit. I gave it like 5 stars because like, why not? Was it like my favorite thing? No, but like I had a lot of fun with it, so whatever, it gets 5. I guess 4.5 stars. There you go, that's what it gets. Next category is paranormal romance, and I read 3 of them. I finally read Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. It happened. I finally did it, and I fully get the hype. I'm so glad I went back and tried this again, because I tried reading this series, but I picked up a book from like a spin-off and it made 0 sense. I think it's great for people who like the Kate Daniels series from Alona Andrews. Similar vibe, but not the same world. Very different books, but like similar vibe. This one in particular, we're following Mercy. She is a shifter. She can turn into a coyote. And there's magical creatures in this world. There's the Fae, there's vampires, there's werewolves, there's like a whole bunch of stuff. And in particular this time, she is dealing with like people who are doing bad things to werewolves, and they're kind of like experimenting on them, and she has to like, she gets involved in it, and she has to like save the day. And we also find out a lot of backstory about her life, ex-boyfriends that are kind of in the picture again, and the politics of this world. So it's a really, really good fun foundational book for a series that I know has like so many books in it. This really lays the groundwork of the world it takes place in, and I really am excited to see where it goes. I definitely want to read more books in it. It's Mercy's really cool. She's a mechanic. She's tough. She is also very compassionate to people. She wants to like help people, and she bakes a mean cookie. So she's got a lot of things going on for her. And also, you know, there's sexy werewolves and vampires. So it's got all the like paranormal romance, urban fantasy charms I enjoy. And I'm really glad I finally read this. I would definitely read more from this series. It's really good. Speaking of incredibly long series of books, I also read A Quick Bite by Lindsay Sands. This is the first book of the Argento Vampire series, which is well into like 30-something books at this point. And honestly, this one is not that good. I'm being honest, guys. I gave it like 3 stars because like it's fine. I didn't hate it enough that I didn't get a rage boner over this. Like, it was just fine. It was like, whatever. I don't care enough about it to hate it. Most of the time, it just makes 0 sense. So you have Lysiana and Gregory. Lysiana is a vampire. Gregory is a psychologist. And her mom kidnaps him because she has a blood phobia. So a vampire with a blood phobia, laughs ensue, right? And it's just like zany kind of rom-com stuff. And I'll give it this. It did have a few moments that I thought were very funny. So it had like a couple like zany moments that I hadn't seen in other paranormal romances before. So it had that going for it, definitely. Credit where credit's due. However, most of the world building in this didn't make sense. I don't understand how they're obsessed with each other because like they just met and he's just like, okay, I will marry you right now and I'm gonna be immortal with you now. Who cares? I have a family, fuck him. Like, he's just like down to do this. He's known her for like a week. And I was like, what? That seems a bit short-sighted, sir. Aren't you're a doctor. Like, what is happening? And the weirdest thing about this book is I can't get over it, is how the vampires work. Like, you know, like vampire fangs, like they're for biting. You bite, you pop the holes, and then you drink the blood through your mouth like a normal person drinks things. That's how fangs work. Not in this book. Their fangs work like little straws. They suck blood through their teeth. They bite and then the blood goes in through their teeth. Why? Like, I can't get over it. They're straw teeth. They drink through their teeth. Why? So yeah, maybe I do have a bit of a rage boner about this book, but yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why they would drink through their teeth. It makes no sense. It bothers me a lot. I don't know. It's been going on for 30-something books. I think I might try to read more in it just to see if it gets better, because this one isn't the greatest, but it did come out, like, I think in 2005, so it's a bit old at this time, but who knows? I mean, obviously it has its fans, so maybe I'll try to read something else, but, like, the teeth thing, I can't get over it. I also read Not Your Average Hot Guy by Gwenda Bond, and this one was like a total impulse buy. Like, I saw like an ad for it and I was like, that sounds great, pre-order. It came out the week afterward I pre-ordered it. So it was literally just impulse. So you have Callie, and she is in charge of the escape room her family runs for the weekend. And then this cult shows up and they're like, we're stealing this grimoire because it's real and we're going to use it to summon demons. And she's like, no, that is not cool. And so they end up getting it in the cult. They summon a demon. And wouldn't you know, the demon they get is the devil's hot son named Luke. The whole concept of this is so ridiculous that I love it. In execution, was it fantastic? Kind of no. Like, I appreciated like how silly it was. It's kind of like Buffy humor. If you're a Buffy person, I think you would like the humor in this because it's kind of stupid, but like it works because the situation is so freaking weird. Then, like, why not put a stupid joke in? And here's the thing, like, I also thought this was gonna be a smutty romance, and it's kind of not, and I was a little disappointed by the lack of smut here. Like, is there zero smut? Arguably not. Like, there's like one scene kind of, but like there's no sex. Sex does not happen in this, but there's like a little something. Although, like, it does make sense because this book kind of takes place all in the course of one night, so like sex doesn't really necessarily make sense, but like, why do anything then if you're not gonna do that? It's like, I don't know, it felt like it was kind of half-hearted. So A+ concept and kind of like C-level execution, I guess. So I gave it like 3.5 stars because it's fun. I rounded up to 4 because I'm nice, but it's like a 3.5 star book. It's a little better than average. It's a cool concept. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just, you know, could have been better. Next category is regular fantasy, and I read one of them. I read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. and hot damn is this amazing. I really was not expecting it to love it as much as I did. This is amazing, 5 stars. Honestly, it's probably gonna make my best books of the year list. It's really good. And I shouldn't be surprised, it's N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin is a literary genius. All of her books are incredible. Like, every single one, she knocks it out of the park. And the basic concept here is that as cities grow and they're full of people and all of their collective consciousness and dreams and ambitions, it actually kind of forms a metaphysical being, and the city kind of is born. It comes to life, and it has avatars. And New York, for example, has avatars for each of the 5 boroughs, as well as one main avatar. And they have to fight off like these Lovecraftian demons who are there to like stop the city from being born and like destroy it. So they're like, no, not cool. We're not letting you destroy New York. So they have to fight back against Lovecraftian demons. I mean, I should not have to say anything else because that already sounds amazing. It's also very self-aware, like it gets the joke it's kind of putting out. Like, for example, Brooklyn, the embodiment of Brooklyn, is now like on city council, a respectable woman, but like back in the day, she was a female MC. So she fights back with like rap music and like MC battles. She can use it because it's like kind of the sound of Brooklyn to fight back against Lovecraftian demons. So like it's silly, but like in a really fun way. We're just like, yeah, you know, why not? And it's such a cool concept. This actually is not a standalone. I thought it was going to be one. I feel like it could stand on its own. It doesn't need the second book, but I'm glad that it is getting a second book because, oh my gosh, like I want to know how this is going to shake out. Wow, this is bonkers good. Like I can't say any more about the plot because I feel like it's going to get spoilery. 5 out of 5 stars. Fantastic. Making my best books of the year list. Go read this right now. Last category is girl power, and I read 2 of them. I read A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow, and this is kind of her Fractured Fairy Tales series, so this time they're taking on Sleeping Beauty, and they're giving Sleeping Beauty much more agency in her own story. And our main character, which I don't know why I can't remember her name right now, I just can't. That's my life. She has her own problems in life. She actually is dying of this rare disease. And most people with the disease don't live past 22, and she just turned 21. So, you know, she's dealing with that. And then one day, she gets sucked into the story of Sleeping Beauty, like sucked into a parallel dimension. And she wakes up and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm in fairy tale land. And so she has to like kind of help Princess Aurora, you know, like the real Sleeping Beauty, kind of like figure out what's going on with her own story. And they're similar age. They have a lot of parallels between them. They're also kind of figuring out, like, how do I get more agency in this life? And, you know, they're fighting to give the princess her own ending rather than, like, letting her just be, you know, drawn by fate and not having a say in how her story ends. And it's kind of really cool because it has a lot of parallels. Zinnia, that's her name! Oh my gosh, I just jogged my own memory. So Zinnia is our main character. It's basically kind of this weird dimensional jumping because you can pull in all of the Sleeping Beauty variations from all of the fairy tale retellings, kind of can come together, team up, girl power, fight the man. And it's Fractured Fairy Tales. It's very much that. It's just like a wacky kind of interdimensional Sleeping Beauty story. And also, you know, finding agency in your own story. Sleeping Beauty, she has like a curse. And then, you know, Zinnia, she has a disease. So they both kind of have like this ticking clock waiting till like they hit that moment where there's no upside. So it's kind of really a cool story. I liked it. I kind of wished it was longer. It is a novella, so like it really just cut out all the fat. It's just A, B, C, D rather than like taking its time with the journey. And I don't know, I think I would have enjoyed the journey on this one. It was kind of too short in my opinion, but I had a really good time with it. I think it's an A+ concept. There's more books coming out in this series. I don't know what they all are, but they're all like kind of based on fairy tales, giving them more agency, and I'm like here for it. Last up, I have The Girls Are Never Gone by Sarah Glenn Marsh. And this one was just kind of a random book I picked up. I was like, I want something ghosty, and I found this one. I was like, oh, all of the ghosts. So we're following Dare. She's a young woman. She hunts ghosts, essentially. This is her deal. She's a podcaster. She used to have a YouTube channel where she hunts ghosts, and so it's kind of her thing. So she has this very popular podcast where she like investigates ghost stories. And she has to go to this mansion in Virginia. It's a very old haunted mansion. And she's like, all right, let's go. The thing with Dare is she's very much a skeptic. She actually has never seen a ghost. She goes to all these haunted places and she wants to see a ghost, but she does not have any evidence that the ghosts are real. And whoo boy, does she get a lot of evidence that ghosts are real. She goes to this mansion and she finds the real deal, lots of ghosts. We have a girl power team up in play here because we have Dare and she's going to team up with Quinn and Holly, these two other girls who are at the mansion with her. Basically, it's kind of like a summer internship trying to restoring this old mansion. And they're there and they're like, oh no, there's some spookiness happening and they're trying to hunt these ghosts. And also, you know, stop the ghosts from doing things. And also there's like really great representation. There's bisexual representation in this. There's also diabetic representation. I don't think it's a disability necessarily. It's just like a disease that some people have. But Dare has type 1 diabetes, so there's a lot of like stuff in there and how it just affects her everyday life. So if you want like cool representation, that's in there. Also, real ghosts, not metaphorical emotional ghosts, real ones. There's real ghosts in this. The only thing I wasn't super into was like the end, because it's really open-ended and I'm like, is there another book coming out? Because I don't know if there is, and it's too open-ended for there not to be a sequel. Like, this has to be a duology. If it's not, I would be very upset. But yeah, it's really kind of good. It's like these, you know, a girl power team up fighting ghosts in a haunted mansion. And, you know, it's fun. It's a fun, like, spooky book for Halloween, and I had a good time with it. And I don't know, I gave it like 4 stars. It was fun. It was fun. It had ghosts and creepy stuff. All right, so that will wrap up October. I read a whole bunch of books this month, like 14 of them. Holy smokes. And you know what? I dug into this Spooky Delight thing and I was like having a ball with it. I had so much fun reading spooky books. Let me know in the comments down below, what were some of your favorite spooky books you read this October? And if you didn't read any spooky ones, what was something you were really into this October? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon.